You have enough in your retirement account to make sure that those funds never run dry. The problem is, a majority of people that are getting into retirement are not saving enough and they're running out of money for retirement and relying on Social Security. So, in today's video, we're going to be looking at 9 ways to make sure your retirement fund is fully funded and you're never going to run out of money. Now, of course, to start with this, our first one, meeting with a financial advisor, a financial planner, someone who is going to gauge exactly how much you have saved, how long is it going to last, and at what point in time are you going to run out of money? For a lot of us, if you have health concerns, if you have health conditions, longevity might not be there, but for most people, they are aiming and really looking at about 90 years of age before we pass away. Some people, of course, a little bit less, some people a lot more. I know people that are 99 or 100 plus at this point. If you're saving and really having those retirement funds up to age 100, you need to know exactly how much you are going to have and what does your budget look like. So if you're going into retirement with a mortgage, what is going to cost and what is going to cover that mortgage? What about unexpected expenses? What about healthcare, long-term care, things like that? That is, of course, a big option and a big thing you have to talk about with a financial advisor. When we look at the second one, saving more than you think you'll need. This, of course, there is no cap. When you're looking at a number, for us, it might be $1 million, but when you're looking at a specific number, anything that you can save above and beyond that number, even if that is your target, you're never going to be kind of let down, I guess. 70-90% of pre-retirement income is really what you're looking to maintain the standard of living. So thinking about that, if you're making $5,000 a month right now and you're living with inside of your means, which of course is very important, not supplementing it with credit card debt, not doing additional lending, but really living within your means, meaning that you could look 70-90% of your income. Now, what we've seen traditionally is with rising inflation as we are today, is 70-90% of the income that they were earning is not being replaced. We're seeing it more like 50-60%. And even when you look at Social Security overall, they recommend or really advise it to replace about 30-40% of your income, which means that 70-90%, you're going to have to come up with 50% of the income during retirement years if you don't have, a 401k, a pension, anything like that, to cover the costs that you are covering. Now, the third one, note that expenses will likely drop in retirement, but not all expenses will. This is the big reason why the number one hurdle that I see when it comes to retirement and when it comes to retirement savings is carrying the mortgage into retirement. When you think of a fixed cost, that's $1,000, $1,500, $1,800, or even higher depending what you have. When you're moving from a regular 9-to-5 job, overtime, even getting everything of that nature, then you go to the point of moving into a fixed income with Social Security. You have to make sure this is the reason why people are doing reverse mortgages. They're downsizing exactly where they live. They're making it more cost efficient really during retirement because they don't have the money to cover it. Now, number 4, boosting your retirement accounts. This is what a lot of people are doing, and also looking at 2025 with the changes to 401k plans. They are going to give you the ability to boost and really bolster those retirement accounts, putting as much money as possible in those accounts, not only during and kind of building up to retirement, but if you're within the next couple years going into retirement, you want to make sure that you're putting everything that you can in there, building that nest egg as big as you can and as high as you can. Now, of course, you're not going to have the compounding interest, but you also have to remember, when it comes to retirement portfolios, you're not going to be taking all the money out day one. If you're retiring at 65 and you expect to live to 85, 90, you're going to have 20, 25 years right there until you are going to pass, meaning you have 20 to 25 years of growth that you still need to see from that retirement portfolio. As you're taking money off the top or taking money out of that account, you still want to make sure that that account is growing and growing in a very quick way. Now, the one way that a lot of people do this, which is number 5, looking into annuities. Now, annuities are it kind of help with planning about retirement planning. Annuities are offered through a ton of different companies. So what you do is you set a certain amount aside, put it into annuity. That annuity gives you a monthly paycheck. This is really good for people who can't manage their money. It is really giving you a series of payments. For instance, if you put $100,000 into, let's say, a 5-year annuity, that annuity is going to pay you X dollar amount every single month. And of course, with the annuities, they also do give you a guaranteed growth factor, 3%, 4%, I believe even some annuities as we see today, are over 5%, meaning not only are you going to get a 5% growth in the annuity, depending how much money you're taking out of there, it is going to give you a steady paycheck, which again, a lot of people really do need, because if they give access and if they have access to the entire retirement account, chances are a lot of people, and I've seen it, will burn through the money faster than they need to. They start and they retire at 65. By the time they're 75, those retirement accounts are completely depleted, meaning that you are not going to have any more money that is coming in because the retirement accounts have been cashed out and they still don't have that 9 to 5 job. Now, looking at this with annuities, there are a lot of pros and cons. There are a lot of different types of annuities. So sitting down, think carefully before you purchase any annuity, because most of the annuities, in addition, have a massive penalty if you take the money out. I'm talking 10, 15% of your principal balance if you're taking money out of the annuity early and really just cashing it out. You have to know all of the pros, all of the cons of those annuities before you get into there. Next one, we look at eliminating high expense, high debt. That really high level of the credit card debt is something that you have to do. I've even seen people that will take funds out of a retirement account to eliminate that credit card debt. When you start looking at credit cards, 20 to 25% interest rates, this can be absolutely crippling during retirement. Then if you couple on a mortgage, which is a big regular payment as well, you want to save money. Not only, again, if you have a retirement portfolio that is giving you, let's say, a 5%, a 7% yield, pretty good. Even the S&P 500 giving you 10%, yet you're paying out 23, 25% to credit card companies. The net of both of those, you are losing money by not paying off those credit cards because of the high interest rate and the high interest debt that you do have. Now, of course, you can sit down with financial counselors like myself. Financial advisors really craft a debt management strategy, which I do for a lot of individuals to eliminate debt. The thing is, you have to stop using them. A lot of people that I do debt consolidation for, that we do a lot of the budgeting and the planning, they go back to credit cards, and this is really where it is detrimental, because now you have the loan or the additional payment that you have in addition to the credit card debt and the new debt that you've accumulated, which just continues that constant cycle. There's going to be a point of accountability that you have to do it personally and take accountability for the debt and where you're spending your money, and really cutting down and eliminating all of that spending and making sure you're not using those credit cards to do it. Now, guys, before we get into a new one, please subscribe to the channel. We're well on our way to 10,000 subscribers. We're already at 7, which is pretty incredible. 7,000 subscribers already. And I hope you're enjoying the debt-free journey that we do here on the channel. The next one we look at is healthcare costs. Now, if you're in retirement, and I've dealt with this a couple times now, when you start thinking of the United States and the healthcare marketplace, it is kind of crazy because there are a crazy amount of packages within the marketplace that we have here. And it's not the Facebook marketplace, it is the healthcare marketplace, where you have to buy your, not only supplemented from what the government is offering you, but a lot of people do buy supplemental insurance. So it is healthcare, it is prescription costs, it is dental care. There's a lot of stuff to cover the healthcare costs. This is where, if it is eligible, a really big part, HSA accounts. When we start thinking of the LO, or the financial order of really the independence that we need to get, the financial order of things, HSAs are huge, and HSAs are really what I feel people overlook. When it comes to HSA accounts, you get that triple tax advantage. And if you're stocking up the HSA account as it sits today, you can let it grow going into retirement, covering all of these deductibles and the high price of healthcare that we do see during retirement years. It is average that when you retire, let's say at 65, till the time that you pass, it is about $70,000 in healthcare costs. Now, of course, that is the supplement to the Social Security, to Medicare, Medicaid. $70,000 is the estimated cost that people spend on prescriptions, doctor visits, all of that. Which means if you can go ahead and get that amount of money over a multitude of years into an HSA account, your healthcare costs can be fully paid for going into retirement, which frees up an infinite amount of money. You don't have to take all that money out of your retirement plans. You can let the retirement plans grow. And if you do have and really eliminate a lot of the debt, including the mortgage, Social Security, and really retirement is going to be a lot easier for you overall. So as we get into number 8, put good spending habits in place today. Doesn't matter if you're 18, doesn't matter if you're 80, budgeting is important. Spending plan, whatever you want to call it, even if it's not right down to the absolute penny, list and really know all of your fixed expenses. We're talking about mortgages, gas, electricity, internet, food, groceries. As much as you can estimate what you're going to spend, you can see exactly what you're going to get from Social Security, what you're getting from pensions, from your annuities, from your retirements, from your IRAs. You can ballpark on paper exactly what the monthly budget is going to look like, how much money's coming in, how much money is going out, what do you have left over, and also, what do you want to do with your life? When you get into retirement, it is the time you no longer have to work. It is the time that you have time. You have worked your entire life to buy the time that you have available in retirement. Making the most of it is going to make a big difference. I know a lot of people that do bucket lists, that do trips they've always wanted to. And now is the time, if you save properly, you can definitely get in there. And the final one we look at is the diversification of your portfolio. When you start getting more into the retirement years, you don't want as much volatility. You do not want as much risk. When we think of something like the VUG, the Vanguard Growth Fund, that is not where you want to park all of your money or a majority of your money. You want it to be in something that is a lot less volatile, a lot less or a lot more safe. That is the reason why a lot of people start moving it into bonds. They move it into, some of the dividend ETFs that we talk about, like the HD or the VYM. There is actually a kind of a transition where you don't want to keep all of your eggs in one basket. Even if you're doing target date funds, let's say a 2065 target date fund, it will systematically move and mitigate and really diversify your portfolio. That is the build that it has specifically. And you want to make sure that there's not going to be a point where your portfolio drops 30, 40, 50%. You don't want, and honestly, during retirement, you can't take that type of loss. So what does it look like as the bottom line? Reducing your cost, increasing your savings, putting more money into retirement will minimize the risk of running out of money during retirement. And of course, developing those good financial habits, boosting up the bank account, because not only are you going to need retirement funds, you are also going to need that emergency fund. You're going to need money to cover healthcare costs. That is going into high yield savings and savings accounts. And of course, if you sit down with a financial advisor, you can kind of hash out exactly how much you're going to need and what your retirement is going to look like. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.